Okay, folks, I'm going to begin the process of trying to um, restore that old trumpet I bought. Um, I'm first going to take a small spot on it and use the Flitz polisher I have to see if it restores that particular part of the finish. And if it does, I'll use that on the good trumpet I bought. But what I'm first going to do after I do that with this trumpet is I'm going to take out the valves and I'm going to give it a bath. I'm going to soak it in hot water and Dawn, and that should remove the remnants of any lacquer that's on there right now. There's not much lacquer left on it. It doesn't appear anyway. And I remember I want to de-lacquer this horn. So we're going to start with that before I try the chemical stuff. So, all right, let me get you turned around here. I'll show you what I'm doing. So there's the horn that I'm going to be redoing, and I have my bath ready for it. I have to add some more hot water to it, but I'll take the valves out and get it ready. So I'm going to get this turned around and probably go on time lapse for a bit. Okay. So I took the valves out. They had them in the wrong spots. The valves aren't in too bad a shape. It's got brass stops, so nothing plastic in there. I'm going to try to get the buttons off that, but oh, that's coming off. None of the slides, all the slides are stuck. So the first valve slide, third valve, the one in the lead pipe. Now, it's an old lacquer on it. I think that the hot water and Dawn should work on getting that loosened and off. There's not a lot of, the lacquer's of course all gone here. It's down to bare metal. So I'm not too concerned about taking off too much of any of the finish because I'm just going to take it down to the bare metal. So hopefully that the soaking to some of the heat will provide, because it's super hot water, will help loosen up the slides. I can get those out for proper cleaning. So we're going to put this down in the bath for now. I'm going to have to get some more hot water in there, and we're going to let that stew down in there for, I don't know, 15-20 minutes or so. So I'll bring you back. I gotta try to take apart these valves because I should be soaking them as well. I have new felts on the way. I'm hoping I can do this just by hand without having to get tools out. But I can see right now that that's not going to be the case. So all right, got that one done. I did order some replacement springs and felts. We'll see what happens there, but I think I can go ahead and I'm just going to put this. They're all numbered too, so I don't know if you can see that. Let me see if is that number 3 on the top of that. So they're all numbered, so you know where to put them back in place. I was hoping I'd get that out, but not right now. It doesn't look like I'm gonna have to All right, these are going down in the bath as well. All right, let's see if this works. Yeah. And there's a serial number on that. You see right there. So once I figure out what horn it is, I'll see if I can do a serial number search on that as well. Now these pieces have a little felt and cork underneath as well. I will clean those individually later, taking those off and putting them out back on the same stem, so I can get that one in there. Okay, so all the valves are now bathing. Now I gotta see if I can get this bad boy off here. There we go. All right, button in the water. And one more felt to get out here. I did get a pick. Let's see if this pick works a little better, digging that out. Oh yeah. All right. So we'll see. I may be able to reuse those, flipping those around. All right, so I'll bring it back when I pull out the trumpet. My plan is to hopefully like a soft toothbrush will help me get that lacquer off, and we'll see what we have for a finish afterwards. All right, back in a bit. So while I'm waiting for the trumpet to soak in its bath, I decided to do a little research on the mouthpiece, because I've never seen one like this, and it's quite heavy, and it's got a shallow, I'll be cleaning it up of course, it's got a real shallow cup on it. It's a 19C. It turns out it's a Rudy Muck cushion. And when I research on these, you find them anywhere from $88 to $250, $60. So right there, I paid $45 for that old trumpet that I'm cleaning up. The mouthpiece alone is minimum twice worth that. I guess that's correct. So I'm anxious to get this cleaned up, and I can't wait to try it out. But yeah, so it looks like I did okay money-wise. But I got a feeling this horn's going to be looking pretty good when I'm done. All right, that was just a little sidetrack there. All right, it's about 20 minutes. I'm going to pull that trumpet out of the water and bring it up on the towel here. I just pulled it out a little bit, and it's pretty stinky, the water. I don't think the hot water is working on this lacquer. So I did on one of my videos see that older traditional lacquers, older than 75 years, which I think this horn is probably at least that old. It's a little bit different lacquer than they used in modern times, and it may not come off with the hot water. So I want to give that a shot first, just in case. Otherwise, I have to go get some, I think it's called aircraft remover, and spray that on. We'll see if that works. But I'm going to use this to get it out of that hot water right now, bring it up here, and see what see what it did on that lacquer. All right. Ooh, she's hot. Oh, it's steaming pretty good. Oop, that's not good. I'm gonna ruin my table. Be right back. I gotta get a different towel. This table is quite sensitive to heat. Yeah, it's already. All right, let's see what we come up with. Well, that lacquer is peeling off, so maybe we'll dip her back in, and yeah, it's definitely coming off. Let me brush, yeah, that's working actually. So let's finish. Getting off what we can here. And we'll put it back in for a second rinse. So if you can see it peeling right here. Can you see that? Oh, let's see. Yeah, you can see that right in there, how it's peeling off. So that works. But what the hot water has not done is loosened up my, I see I have a little bit of a bent, see that? Not perfectly round right there. Bent in. I'm gonna have to try to fix that. Not an instrument repair by any stretch of the imagination. This is all new to me here. So, but if you can see all that flaking off there. Bell here. Oh yeah, look at that. You see the original brass is shining through. I should say the brass is shining through. There's a brass horn. I'm wondering if there wasn't a new bell put on this. You can see the line, but maybe not, because the stamping, the stenciling, I think they call these stencil horns. The stenciling is not interrupted. Just soak it again and see what more it does. Whew, that water's hot. Okay, maybe what we'll do is I'll get this mouthpiece cleaned up while we're sitting here. So I need to dip it down this hot water, and it's so hot. Oh, that's so hot. And let's see what we come up with here. she was dirty. Now she's looking pretty good. I gotta get up in there. Clean. I had quite the buildup in there before. I'm gonna take this scrubby part of the sponge and very lightly do the top of the mouthpiece and see if that gets off some of the gunk on there before I polish. All right, let's try some polish on this. So there's before. If you see the inside or not, it's pretty clean. Okay, let's get a little polish and see what happens. It's probably way too much polish. Not probably, it is way too much. And I just lost a bunch of it. All right, let's see what happens here. That's definitely taken tarnish off. It's already quite black. I think we'll time lapse the polishing of this, see how it goes. All right, hold on. All right, so the mouthpiece is done. And boy, did it come out nice. I thought about maybe going downstairs and putting it on the buffer, but turned out pretty good. So, one part complete. All right, I think we're gonna bring out the trumpet for scrub number 2 and see what it looks like. Well, Same toothbrush. Of course, there's not much finish left on the horn. Hey, well, the slides came out. Let's see about these. Nope. And what about? Nope. And what about these? Nope. Well, again, not an instrument repair, so I think I'm going to do is get some penetrating oil and let that do its magic for a little bit. Back in the bath for a little bit, and we'll see if I can dig out some of the smaller parts, the valves and such. See how they've cleaned up. Valve's got a little bit of, it's not pitted, but it's like just worn where they weren't oiled enough, I think. But we're gonna give these a good oil up and see how they come out. Also, I marked that it's an older Trumpet. The valve stops are brass as well. They're not plastic like they are nowadays, or nylon, whatever they make them out of. All right, I think I have most of the lacquer off it now. I really can't get into the nooks and crannies until I get these slides out. So I don't know how to do that, and I don't want to bend them. So I'm going to do some penetrating oil. Oh, first I want to clean. No, I don't want to clean the inside. I got to run this through all the insides, but usually you wait till you have these out. So let's get some old 3-in-1 here. I don't know if this is going to work or not. I'll get you flipped up a little bit. So, just to show you see, those are really, not, I don't want to say rusted in, but without being greased for so many years. So we'll see if we can't get a little penetrating oil down there. This is probably the wrong way to do it. I don't know. I see I'm still getting flakes of, oh. Yeah, lucky it's the gap is showing on those ones, but on the first valve slide, there's no gap showing at all. So, I don't know, I'm going to get down in there. All right, we'll bring you back in a while. well, nears I can make out, not a French trumpet, but F.E. something and Sons. And I can't make out the words below it, nor can I make out I can make out, don't know up here either. Hopefully they'll come out when I shine it. I might try to give that little spot just a little polish to see what happens. See if that lacquer's gone or not. Like I say, this is pretty much all experimental for me, so I have to do some research on how to get those slides out. I'm guessing I'm gonna have to apply some sort of heat. We'll see. I'm gonna try a little bit of this polish right here and see what happens. Okay, something's showing up. I don't know if I'm gonna have to give this a whole thing of polish and then re-dip it to get rid of the rest of the... Definitely gonna be a multi-day project for me, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah, that bit is shining up nice over here. I think I can read some of the words now. Let's see what it says. Still can't make out the letters. Well, let's get some more polish. See what happens. See if we can get more to come out. I think what I'm doing is some of that lacquer that's hanging on. This polish isn't abrasive enough to take that off. A little dent there. Surprisingly, very few dents on this horn. Just two minor ones I see, which I'm very pleased with. Let me get this side of this one word and see if I can make it out. So, ambassador, ambassador, made by, well, it's some bad spelling, but it's an ambassador made by F.E. something and Son. Okay, mystery solved. So, just as a reminder, I paid $45 for this old trumpet. Turns out the mouthpiece is worth more than all that. The mouthpiece is anywhere from basically $90 to $250. The trumpet is a cheap ambassador made by F.E. Olds and Son, Fullerton, California. It's a stencil trumpet. Still nice. It's got a nice profile to it. I like the feel, and I'm going to continue to bring this back to life because I think it needs a second chance. And you can see where Now, without the lacquer on it, over time that's going to tarnish again. But I think I'm going to go ahead and work on getting the valves out. And when that happens, I will come back to you. So, all right, we'll catch you later. Well, here's a day 2 update on restoring this old trumpet. So, since I last filmed, I did determine, I think I discussed that this is an Olds Ambassador by F.E. Olds and Son. And while I thought it was a stencil trumpet, it was made by Olds in Fullerton, California in either late 56 or 57, according to the serial numbers. There's a good database online that you can check serial numbers and find out the age of your horn. So that's good news. The other good news is I think I've succeeded between the hot water and I went and bought that aircraft remover. Didn't film that. I think I have all the lacquer off now. I just finished brushing and what I could between the, I just saw another one, what I could find between the valves and such. There, that's off. And so it is fully delacquered. Now, the bad news is slide 1 and slide 2 are totally frozen. I have oiled, heated, bathed to try to get those loose, and I can't. I'm going to try another night of soaking the where they meet in oil. I was debating on if I can get some oil and drop it down into here so it rises up to about here, because these inserts go into about there. And the oil can maybe work its way in between. I'd have to prop it up like that overnight somewhere. And then do the same thing on the third slide. And I'd have to plug off, I took off the water, the spit valve, to plug that off, but that's a lot more oil involved because they go up to here. And I have to fill those tubes up pretty high. But I might just try that if I can't get it. Like I said, I took the lacquer off, and my plan is to polish it all, polish the brass back to what it was. And you can see I've done some of that already compared to what it was before. It's coming right back. So it's looking fairly decent. I did notice there's a little bit of the horn doesn't sit totally flat. There's a little bit of a wave on one side. I might try to pound that down. We'll see. And this little ding right here, I might try to push that back out, but I don't know. It's cleaning up nice. I don't think I have anybody in my town that works on instruments. I'm going to research that next and see if I can't get these pulled, see if they can do it for me. Because I really do want to get those cleaned before I start playing it. So, yeah, you can see on this, this looked like this before, and I wanted to see how that would come out, and the brass came right back. So it's going to take some elbow grease and some time, but I think that's all going to come back pretty decent. It has the little, you can see all that in it. But you know, from 10 feet, she looks pretty nice. And I think it's important we save these old horns. So anyway, there we go. I will update again once I have my slides figured out. All right, see you next time. Okay, I think I last left off yesterday. I said I was having problems getting the first and third slide out. So what I did is I went yesterday and bought some PB Blaster, and what I did was I put it down. This slide was on here, so went through the I went through the valve, and I filled up that whole slide with PB Blaster and let it sit overnight. And then I dumped the PB Blaster out this morning, and I heated it up with a blow dryer, and by God, I got some movement in it. So back and forth for about 5 minutes, I finally pulled it out. So right now I'm trying the PB Blaster only just on you can see that this is partially out on both of these. That's been like that, stuck right there. I don't know if the PB Blaster is penetrating down there. I'm gonna try this first. If that works, then get it pulled out good. If it doesn't work today, what I'm gonna do is go ahead and put the valve back on here, the spit valve, so it plugs that hole up. And then I'll take and with the PB Blaster, go in through here and fill this up with PB Blaster so it's up to about here, and we'll see, and leave it sit overnight again and see if that helps. So one more to go, and then I can start putting a good polish on it all and getting it put back together. So that's where we're at right now. The PB Blaster does leave a bit of an odor, so on the slide I was able to pull out. I have this filled with Dawn right now to neutralize that oil smell. I think that should work. That Dawn works pretty good on all that kind of thing. So that's where we're at on this right now. So I'll bring you back when hopefully I have that third slide off. All right, see you next time. Well, day 3 or 4 with trying to get the trumpet taken completely apart, getting all the slides out. Finally got the third slide out. So that took a lot of PB Blaster soaking heat with a hair dryer, and as one spot I found on the interweb told me, 1,000 little taps. So I had my rubber mallet and just ever so slightly between heat and oil tapping, heat and oil tapping, I was able to break free that third slide. So that's down in the Dawn bath soaking right now. I'm going to put this back down in there, soak it for a bit, clean out all the tubes I couldn't get to before. Give this a good flush out. I was able to. I found I had a little metal. What do you? I don't know. I know it's for taking out dents, maybe working on cars and such. I think this was my grandpa's. I found it down in my toolbox, and I was able to get the ding about 75% out of the bell right here with that. I might tap on that a little bit later to see if I can get that a little bit better. But success on getting the horn completely taken down. Hopefully by the end of the day, I will have it put back together. If I get it polished today, it's going to take me a few hours to get this thing polished up. So maybe tomorrow I'll have it put back together and blow it for you to see, so you can see that it works. All right, we'll be back. Okay, I polish as much as I'm going to. I had to do some expectation management in the middle of this because I could keep polishing and polishing and polishing. And a couple spots I really tried to take down and get rid of some of these blemishes, but no matter how much I polished, they weren't coming out. So the old saying, it is what it is. It looks, I'd say, 90% better than it did. Now, you know, from far away, it's shiny. And it's shiny up close, but it has its blemishes. And remember, I did take the lacquer off, so this is going to tarnish again. But I plan on giving it a polish in 6 months. I'm going to put some anti-tarnish strips in the box, in the carrying case with it. So let's do a reassembly here, see if I can remember how to put it all back together. I just tried one valve, so let's put on the valve bottoms. Try to keep this in the camera. Yeah, see, I tried polishing those and man, they just wouldn't come up, but okay. So the valve bottoms are on. I've reassembled one valve and I'm going to oil him and put him back in. You know, I've gone through all this and I have no idea if it's going to work or not, but maybe it'll become a wall hanger. So this is number one valve. They go in a certain way, and you got it. When they click it and lock like that, then you screw down the. Oh, I see I got a little residue left on that. I'm gonna have to get that off later. All right. Working valve. It didn't work when I picked it up. So let's look at our valves. What do we have next? Let's do number two. Where's the number? There it is. I don't know if you can see that. Probably not. There's number two up there. So valve goes over the spring guide, or the spring goes over the valve guide, and then this gets screwed in. Then we have a cork and a felt. These are in good shape. I don't have to replace those. And then we have this felt goes in here. And that goes on top of the valve. And then the button goes on. Easier said than done. There, that valve's complete. So that's number two. We'll get it oiled up. And line up where the valve guide goes. It's locked in. And we can screw the cap down. See, I'm gonna have to clean the residue off that one too. Let's see what we got. Now, a little sticky. That's to be expected. They haven't been worked for many years. So I'll probably pull him back out a little bit and give him a little bit more oil. I'm gonna get this camera angle down so you can see what's going on the table. There, that's better. You don't need to be looking at me. All right. So The third valve. Spring. The stem. I think that's what it's called, I don't know. The cork. The felt. The cap, and we gotta put the old felt in upside down. And so it looks like new. Reuse it. Put that over. And put the button back on. All right. So now we're ready for a little oil on this one. All right. Valve guide faces me. It's locked in. And let's see if we can get that cap on straight. There we go. All right, that's really good and quiet. That's quiet, but a little sticky. That's got a little rubbing going down there. We're gonna have to oil him some more. Let's put the slides back in. The slides that caused me so much grief. So, got some slide grease. This doesn't take a lot, but just put it around. Like that, and then we'll place it and that slides in freely. We'll wipe that. It pushes the grease out a little bit. We'll get these all in, and then we'll wipe that off. So, all right. The first valve slide. This was the one that was the second worst stuck. And get good grease on that. Not too much. It's gonna squeeze out anyway. But let's get him in there. And we'll slide him back out. I want to make sure that, well, let's see, a lot of the excess grease comes right off. That's okay, that's what it's supposed to do. But, and I'm gonna pull these out after a month or so and re-grease them. And you should grease your valves on your horns on a regular basis. Maintain them. All right. The third, this is the one that gave me so much grief. But we got it off. I was fretting I might have to go to a music shop somewhere way out of town, because I couldn't find anything close, and had some help getting this out, but my perseverance paid off, and hopefully with some regular care, that won't happen again. All right, let's get him on the correct way. And he slides quite freely now, okay. He's missing that. I'm gonna have to find a ring that gets soldered right here and sits back here, and that you can adjust that for tone. Finally, the main slide. I also have to put on the spit valves. So this horn is what, 70, just about 70 years old. And you know, it was made and sold when a lot of the brass instrument companies were trying to get into the expanding student market with all the schools. So they would mass produce these and sell them to the schools. And you can only imagine if this horn was a school horn, which I'm pretty sure it was, how many kids learned to play on this? You know, how much good and bad music was made on this trumpet over the years. And how much good, more bad music will be made by me. But it's nice to think that you know, a lot of folks got their start on this horn, and it's still around, and hopefully someone after me will continue to play it. These these olds are supposed to be well built. I'm gonna give each one of these a little dab more of oil. These valves they do have I don't want to say rust, but they're definitely got some wear marks on them. That's already moving better. Let's see if we can get him lined up. And he fell back into place. Still a little, that's quiet, bouncy. That's quiet and bouncy. This is bouncy, but it's got a bit of a, I don't know if that's a compression issue or it's something scraping. Maybe over time playing it, that'll lessen up a little bit. All right, the spit valves. I was gonna put new corks in. I ordered new corks, but of course those are too big. So I'm gonna have to go with what's in there right now and try to order some that are the correct size. Let's see if I can get this back in there like it's supposed to go without losing everything. That one went in okay. they spring. So my hands are pretty greasy now from the mouthpiece it came with. Works. There you have it. Pretty happy with this. Makes me want to find another one and try it. So, like I say, I'll get some new corks. I'll clean up these caps a little bit, but it's back into playing condition. And it doesn't sound too bad. I can't play without, I don't have anything memorized yet. There we go. This horn probably hasn't been played, I'm guessing, in... Hold on. I'm guessing it hasn't been played in over 25 years. Made in Fullerton, California. Bought it in Pennsylvania at a antique mall. There was about 14 other instruments. I'm sure they're all old school instruments. This was probably the best of the lot, and came out not too bad. All right, thanks for watching. See you next time.